YouTube, what's going on? It is T90, and I'm happy to be back. Welcome back to another Age of Empires 2 game. If you like strategy, if you like diversity, if you like Age of Empires, you're gonna like this Goldrush game. This is easily the best Goldrush game of 2020. I'm recording this on January 4th of 2020. So yeah, we don't have the largest sample size, but I have a feeling we're gonna look back at this as an incredible game, and there's so many unique aspects of it. This was a part of a best of 7 that these two played over Christmas break. I was at home with family at the time, but I got my hands on some of the recorded games, and the best games are going to be coming to YouTube for your viewing pleasure. Viper, best player in the world, no doubt about it. He's playing as the Saracens in the yellow. Very unique pick, and we're going to talk about that more in a second. And then Hera, a player who is definitely top 10 right now, and maybe with some big tournament results, could be seen as a little bit higher up on the pecking order. He is playing as the Aztecs. I actually have a bunch to say here, but one thing I'll tell you right now, if you want more good Goldrush games, in the video description, I'm going to have a classic Goldrush game. It was between Viper right here and Mr. Yo. Very near and dear to my heart because it was the first time that I ever crossed 1,000 viewers on Twitch, and you know, still to this day, one of the craziest Goldrush games. And there's actually going to be quite a lot of similarities. Not saying that the games aren't unique in themselves, but what Viper ends up having to do and try in this game, similar to what we saw all those years ago. That was with the classic civs. You know, we didn't have any of these new expansions. We didn't have the definitive edition, and it was just special for me. And sometimes I feel like I wish you guys knew some of the other classic games. I just wasn't as popular back then, so the video didn't get as many hits. So Viper has gone with Saracens. I'm gonna wait to talk about that. Let's talk about Hera's pick for a second. So I've been pulling up the tech tree more and more because I feel like we really need to talk about the strengths and weaknesses of the civs in more detail. So I hope this doesn't bother someone who might be a long-time viewer. But villagers carry +5, and military units create 15% faster, +5 monk hit points for each monastery technology, and they start with 50 gold. I'm going to leave it at that. This civilization is so strong in 1v1s. They start with the extra gold, they produce their military faster, so they have a very strong man-at-arms rush. Their eco strong, having +5 carrying on their farmers makes them one of the best farming civs in early and mid-game. And then their eagles have some insane attack and creation speed, as I mentioned. Their monks have extra HP. It's just a civ that tends to be able to counter anything that's thrown against it. In fact, name me a civilization they can't counter. Their monks can counter siege. They have their own infantry. They have archers. They have anti-archer and skirmishers and an eagles. The civ is just good, and there's a reason players pick it. So Hera went for that pick, and Viper went for Saracens, which is new and improved now. There's always been a bunch of interesting bonuses with Saracens, and I've always felt like it was an underrated civ. But now, archers, except skirmishers, have +1 attack versus buildings per age. When DE first came out, that was +4. Wait, no, it was +2. No, I lied. I'm sorry. It was +3, and then on top of that, they had their team bonus. So it was way too overpowered for feudal age. Now you're going to be having a total of +2 in feudal, +3 in castle, and +4 in imp. So it's still a bonus they can make use of, and their archers still do a lot of damage versus buildings, but it's not as overpowered as it once was. But the big thing with Saracens is that their market can be abused. I've uploaded games with Tato doing it. I suggest searching for those. Tato has been the one who's really been specializing with Saracens, and picking Saracens in situations where you would never see Saracens picked before. The market now costs 1,000, or slow down a little bit, 100 less wood, so it's 75 wood, and the market trade cost is only 5%. So, to simplify that for you, if you sell resources with Saracens, you get a lot back, and if you need to buy resources with Saracens, it's very easy to do so. It's not near as costly to use the market, it's not near as costly to build the market. Hera, he's walling up, and we'll see what these players will be going for soon. Good scouting from Hera to know that he can wall like this. But on Goldrush, each player will have 7 tiles of gold. Here's 4 tiles for Hera, and then here's 3 outside of his walls. That's dangerous territory. And then both of Viper's golds, in fact, and his stones, are in dangerous territory, so not so good for Viper. And then the rest of the gold is in the center, where you'll find a lot of tigers. Sometimes it can be wolves, lions, whatever. It's the same thing. They're going to attack your villagers. They'll attack your archers. They'll attack your spearmen. Viper is about to click up to feudal age. He's at 22 population. He's researching loom. The 2 lumber camps. Now this could be an archer build. This could be a scout build. It could be anything with Saracens. It can be anything you want it to be. And notice what Hera just did there. Hera, he brought his eagle in. He scouted. And he might loop back around to the gold. But you know, there's one thing that he's probably expecting here, and it's archers. Players have been going with archers so frequently with Saracens. It's probably the big reason that Viper might pick it. And it's probably the best straight archer civ in the game, because you can get them out much faster than even Britons. Actually, you can get to fletching archers with fletching faster with Saracens than you can Britons, because of the eco aspect, that market aspect. But it's very all in. If you're going to sell your stone, which is something Viper might consider doing, that's 200 stone you're not going to have later on. I still find it to just be so easy. And I swear, you can go back in my videos, you can go back on my streams, and listen to me talk about Saracens. People would ask me, what's wrong with Saracens? I mean, Saracens have Hussar, they have the amazing camels, they have siege rams, siege onager, bombard cannons, arbalest, skirm. I mean, it's always been a civ of options. It's always just been a matter of getting to those options. And Tato was the only one before this new balance change who would experiment with that market. Even back then, it was only 100 wood to build it. It was strong. But watch what Viper does here. So first off, he kind of hides the archer ranges there. You notice that? He doesn't build it forward in front of his exposed gold. He hides the archer ranges. And then he's also building his market. Now Hera, he arrives in feudal age, and is he going for man-at-arms, which is common on this? Very common with Aztecs. No, he's not. See, he went to gold, he thought about it, but he's building an archer range. He's getting all of his eco-technologies, so double bed axe for the wood chopping, and also horse collar for the farming. Viper might be expecting those men-at-arms. He placed a palisade wall here just in case. Viper Scout is here. Now, the scouts are going to be very important because Hera has not confirmed that Viper's going archers. Viper could go straight scouts and counter Hera's skirmishers, which is what he's making. A feudal age scout will beat a feudal age eagle scout. Hera actually gets a... I think he's on top of the hill there. I think he had a hill hit, and this will be so close. It's so important. Whoever wins this will have a big advantage. You'll see it here in a second, and Viper wins it. The snake gets the win. Now, guys, he sold his stone. Sold all of his stone. He has 4 archers on the way out of his ranges. He already has 4 here. And pretty soon, he'll be building a blacksmith, and he's not forgetting about his economy either. Where's Viper Scout at? Still running around. Hasn't seen much. Right now, he's I think, just covering his bases. He hasn't full walled his base or anything. He's playing very open compared to Hera. He now sees Hera has an eagle. At this point, Viper will know he's definitely not committing to man-at-arms. There's Viper Scout. He sees the walls. Does he see it? He doesn't see it. He's looking. He wants to know what Hera's up to, but he doesn't know. Now, what's crazy about this game is that these guys have so much game sense that they have not confirmed what their opponent's doing, and they're guessing correctly. So, Hera initially thought that Hera would be going for... Hera initially thought that Viper would be going archers. He confirms that he's going archers because he sees the units in the ranges. Viper, he's looking. He does not see that Hera's going skirmishers, but he's making a stable and going into scouts anyways. This is from thousands of games. This is from experience and having an excellent, excellent brain for strategy. I mean, you just can't... I can't understate how cool it is that they didn't see the strat and just knew. They just felt it. Everything felt right. For Viper, it makes a little bit more sense. But for Hera to commit to that archer range was a bit risky. Viper makes sense because if it was man-at-arms into archers, which is the other strat Aztecs would go for, he would have seen the units already, and going straight Eagles is just not, it's not doable in Feudal Age because they produce so slowly, and I won't waste too much time talking about that, but that's basically the case. Now, what Hera did not see was the stable. He thinks, oh, I predicted what my opponent's going to do. He's going to be so surprised by this. He thinks that, and he also knows that Viper Scout will be very weak. So, there, Scout's dead. He thinks Viper's on the back foot. He thinks Viper is not going to be happy to see this. Viper, he pulls that Scout back. He hides it. Hera's looking. He sees Viper's on both golds. He knows Viper must be using that market. And now he sees a new Scout, and he's thinking, oh boy. Alright, well, the best thing I can do here is simply find an archer. Find any archer. Archers, where are you? Are there archers to the left? Nothing. Are there archers to the right? Don't see it. And Viper wants to push forward, right? Those archers that he did have are on the way. So, we'll actually see something interesting here. Viper will show Hera an archer. Actually, I didn't see this, but I think that what Viper was doing there was an intentional bait. He wanted to bait and show Hera the archer so Hera would stop and he would get some good kills. Hera went at the start of Feudal Age, got all of his eco technologies, and with the power of Aztec farming and a strong economy, he's on his way to the Castle Age. He has 2 ranges, and he's going to be going for skirms. Viper's archers, they melt buildings, but Hera still has skirms, and he is also keeping these skirmishers hidden behind these new house walls. So, Hera got outsmarted, but he did not get outplayed with the economy aspect. He's doing fine here. Viper, he's used the market a bit, maybe sells the wood, you see that? Wait for the food, and now Viper's up behind him. Difference here is that Hera doesn't really have a military composition that's going to shred economies. Viper does. And Viper currently cannot be countered by anything Hera has. The skirmishers won't do it because Viper has 3 scouts. I would prefer to be in Viper's shoes because, well, I'd be a beast at the game. I mean, actually, I prefer to be in Hera's shoes too. Either shoes I will take, but when it comes to the position in the game, you always want the map control. Can't even wall out Saracens. Good luck. Hera's thinking about it. He's thinking about it, but the Viper's scouts commit. Hera loses a skirmisher already. Hera's hoping the TC fire will save him. Really complicated micro. And now Viper realizes, alright, I need to back up just a little bit. He probably in the back of his mind knows he'll get that extra attack for his buildings if he needs to go for a new attack. Hera has opened up with skirms. They will soon be elite skirms. He just has to be careful. Viper has bloodlines on the scouts. And that means that he will be committing to knights. Now, what I always did with Saracens was I would sell the stone. And I would buy the stone later if need be for town centers. Keep in mind, Viper needs to have gold for that. Viper's villas are heading towards the center now. Which he's scouted a decent amount. Nam. And now Hera's getting a lead skirmisher. Behind this, Hera's economy is pretty good. He's building a market. Probably to buy some stone himself after building that tower earlier. Which might not have been necessary. That might have slowed him down. And Viper now has armor on those scouts, and this will help. Crossbow and bodkin arrows coming in for him. And get ready to see some dancing, guys. This is going to be some dirty, dirty dancing because the micro will be sweet. Hera does pick off a crossbow from Viper. And now Viper will have his crossbows with knights in front. And this is not very good for Hera. The skirms counter archers. They're not so good against knights. You see Hera not too scared of just one knight, though. He decides to come in here for good trade. But now Viper will try and stay in the minimum range of the skirms. Not easy to do because he has so many crossbows that can be hit. But this is an amazing KD for Viper. This is an amazing KD. I really think it was a mistake for Hera there. Maybe he thought he was going to lose that many on his way back. So at least there he got a bit of value. But this is danger. Viper has 60 population, is 53 for Hera. So remember, Castle Age is when you have to start thinking about the center. Viper has purchased stone, and now he can build the town center there, and it's on its way. Hera does have more villagers, barely. But I honestly think the difference is not all that huge. Hera didn't have wheelbarrow. He's getting it now. That TC will be idle. Eagles will someday be an option for Hera if he can get to gold. Right now, he's spending his gold on monks. He has to be very careful. Very, very careful. And I'm not sure if he was just late to sending his army this way or late to reacting or both. But as I said, Viper had a Vil lead. Or sorry, Hera had a Vil lead. Viper now has that villager lead. And Viper has done really nice damage. Hera's eco is so idle. And he lost the villagers. But Aztec monks, every single time you research a technology with them, they get 5 more HP. They're not easy to kill. Hera just got his first conversion. Viper will kill a villager. And Viper will see that Hera's building a university. So Hera really has faith in these skirmishers. Ballistics on the way for him, which means Viper can't micro-nerd and run back and forth. Now, I want to show you Viper's position. Viper's also building a university, so he realizes the threat. And remember, Viper is soaking up that gold. Now, a lot of the time, Viper might be using that market. I'm curious to see if he uses this stone, or if he sells it. You see, he has 100 stone. We'll see what he does with that. That's definitely 3rd TC territory, resource-wise. Nothing yet. He has his own monastery. He tries to convert his knight back to his team. He fails. Hera has 2 monks behind here. Now, it's really complicated micro for both. Viper will obviously want to take the monks out of the picture. Hera needs to convert with the monks. Hera, ooh, can he get enough conversions? It's kind of rough. He gets 2, it's not bad, and he also has another monk behind. Monks have 9 range, and he gets another convert. And he saves it. The Viper's ballistics was a little bit too late there. I think with ballistics, maybe he might have sniped a knight or 2 while there was a retreat. The Viper's saving the stone. No, never mind, he sold some stone. So yeah, he's still selling some of his precious resources. The Viper has 10 villagers more. Hera's just 1 TC. But it's not the wrong play for Hera. If this was Arabia, if this was a normal map where Hera's going to have a guarantee of resources, it would be the wrong play. But this is the correct play from Hera, because Hera needs control of the map. Now, he doesn't know that Viper's out there already, but Viper's probably feeling pretty good, because he's building a 2nd town center there. But I want you to focus on a number. I want you to focus on the food number. Viper's been buying food to create new villagers, and Viper only has 6 on food right now. Hera, 11. And that's with 1 town center, so he's not investing near as much. Viper tried to surprise the monks and failed. That's Aztec monks for you. And now he figures, I'll just dive in. And his knights are diving in after the monks, but these men won't die. This is so strong! Aztecs are so strong. Look at those monks. It's not that good for Viper. Viper has committed so much into economy. But it's 37 military for Hera. And Hera's climbing his way back into this game. Now, I want to tell you a little story about Hera. Mainly because I forgot. I've told this on stream before, so at this point it might be a broken record. But when I first started casting, Viper had taken a huge break. Wow, Viper's going to want to break after this, too. Oh my god. He's building a castle in the center, though. That all-important center. Look at Hera. Look at the speed. Look at him just distract those crossbows. Baiting the crossbows into stopping so his skirms can mop them up. And that's what he'll do. Those are Viper's knights anyway. But Hera was playing all the time. He was playing MBL. And back then, he actually reached #1 in the world just playing Huntors. He's an incredibly fast player, and I feel like his weakness normally is sometimes he overextends into fights. But that's not something that's been too common of late. Hera has really looked good. I mean, if I were to pick anyone to hugely surprise people in any upcoming tournaments, it would be him. He's very Viper-esque with his micro, very Viper-esque with his speed, and he's only 20. So that's pretty sick. He has a strong future in this game, and I remember when he was gone for a while, I was not expecting him to come back and be quite this good. He has 30 population more than Viper, and this would be GG territory if it was any other map. But again, it's Goldrush. Hera has skirms. Hera has monks. What does Viper need to kill that? Viper needs light cav, which costs food. Light cav, they're weaker than knights, but you don't want to give knights to your opponent, so it's a good counter to those monks and the skirmishers. So Viper will try it. Problem is he's buying food right now. He only has 8 farmers, so he's buying food. Now, check this out. Look to the right side, bottom right. Look at the price to sell. If Hera doesn't have gold, he can sell and get a lot of gold in return. It's not something that's going to be all that important right now. How do I get my... There we go. As Hera loses his skirms. But it will be really important once Hera's out of this gold here. It's also worth remembering that Aztecs get 33% more gold per relic. So finding any relics would be nice for Hera. But can he push 2 town center? Well, wow, he takes out that town center. Where did that come from, man? That's funny. Can he push 1 town center and the castle from Viper in the middle? Well, this is the way to do it. Go up to the Imperial Age with all that food. Build a castle out here, maybe here, maybe here, maybe here. And then with that castle, start making trips. Now, Viper, he's really struggled with his farming eco, but he has the Saracen market. So if he doesn't have food, he can buy it. If he doesn't have gold, he can sell food. He could sell wood, he can sell whatever with that market and stay alive in the game. And that's what makes this situation so interesting. Also the fact that Hera's best unit here to counter light cav push would be Eagle. But he can't afford to go for Eagle because Viper will place a castle right on top of this hill. There's nothing Hera can do to stop it. Well, unless Viper leaves the area. Viper has full armor, so he decides to take a fight. He will take care of the monks this time. It'll take some time, but he does. And Hera chooses to go to the stone, realizing that, yeah, I'm not going to be able to take any gold when Viper's around. He's completely out of gold now. Hera will have no gold, but I don't have an overlay that really gives us an alert, guys, but please pay attention to the top. You see the gold count spike up there? Hera's selling. So Viper, the fact that Viper's been buying has actually helped Hera stay alive in this game. I could keep the prices up, but it just looks dumb. So I'm not going to do that, but you know, I'll continue to talk about that all game. It's pretty self-explanatory. We don't need to know the specifics. Viper just has to be very careful about his economy. He needs his own food eco. And he's getting it now. He's getting it. He's been stabilizing. 26 farmers for him. He's making knights. He's making light cav. And Viper has 66 fills. It's 56 for Hera. Hera has a trep. Now, there's an upgrade that Aztecs get. They would be strong without this, but it's called Adlatl. I always joke around and call it Aflac, like the insurance commercial. But anyways, that upgrade gives these skirmishers +1 range and attack. So, with enough skirmishers, you can even be decent against light cav. You're looking at skirms, which do 5 damage right now, versus light cav that have 4 pierce armor. But if you get that extra attack with Bracer, and then the extra attack with Adlatl, it's really quite good. But Hera can't invest into, you know, many gold options besides Trebs. He doesn't have a lot of gold floating for upgrades, and so he's going pikes. Pikes and skirms. Full trash and imp, just hoping to get a taste of gold again. But wait a second, there is gold. I feel like this is something if I was playing, I wouldn't think about, but these high-level players are able to analyze the game so nicely. Hera realizes Viper has gold on this hill. Viper left his hill because of Hera's pressure earlier. So Hera thinks, alright, I'll pressure this, and he actually dives in underneath the castle to, I assume, hit the repair villagers. But if he castles here, he can maybe take a little bit of Viper's gold. Oh, but those skirms are out of position. Viper takes a big engagement against them. And keep in mind, it's only Castle Age upgrades on the skirms still. No Bracer, no Chemistry, no Aflac. Sorry for the sniffles. I'm getting a cold. No sick days for me, boys. Hera might even just take the stone and sell it, you know? I mean, castles are going to be important, but maybe selling that 400 stone is worth it. What can Viper do now? I mean, it's 100 population for both. Viper has 20 more vills, but Hera's going to get some gold. Has a bit here, we have a bit here. The one thing Viper has right now is mobility. So perhaps a small raid. Hera is exposed here. Viper's also making skirmishers, and skirmishers are going to match the skirmishers of Hera because Hera doesn't have any imp upgrades on those skirms. And now the light cav are in. This, in my opinion, was a huge misplay from Hera, and it could cost him the game. The light cav will group up, and suddenly Hera will have to send military back instead of forward. He needs to be gaining access to gold. And there's so many things going on, it's hard to focus on it. Hera is now castling the center himself. What a game this is. Viper had all the gold. Now Hera is going to control all the gold. So Viper, what's so cool about this game and so unique is that Viper went from buying everything with the gold he had to then selling his food and wood for gold. And so Viper made the prices better for himself. Is that the equivalent of like regurgitating resources? I mean, like, now if you look at the prices again, I'm sorry, I'm still not used to DE at all. What is, this makes sense. Oh, good. Yeah, look at the sell price. Viper could sell food and wood and get so much, well, not wood, but even stone, gets so much in return. I just find that so interesting. Viper has 81 vills and is 58 for Hera, so the food and wood eco is sky high for Viper compared to Hera, and the risk is always if Hera gets the gold secured enough where he can start making eagles. That's always going to be the risk here. I'm on Hera's point of view. He's not floating resources. He doesn't have any skirm upgrades yet. The only gold units he's made in Castle Age onwards is monks and trebs, and I guess there's 2 rams earlier. So it's not great. Viper's still in castle, and he has to stay in castle, guys. First off, he's not going to gain all that much from going to imp. But I think if he were to use 1,000 food and 800 gold to go imp, it would be a big mistake. He would definitely not be able to pressure. It would give Hera time to make that tech switch. And what is Viper doing? Rams. He knows this is his time. And Hera, he needs to be very careful with these pikes. So if the pikes are out of the picture, and they could be, then the light cav will swoop in and kill the skirms. What a ridiculous game. Hera's economy is so fragile. Viper's is stronger. But Hera has imp. Sorry, I need to get this up here. It's not easy to push castles with rams. It's really not. 5 rams is normally good. Here Viper has 7. 7 rams ready to swoop in. Watch this. Just watch this. I watched this whole game on fast forward, okay? I watched the whole game on fast forward. Viper has 125 population. It's 90 for Hera. Hera realizes he needs to stop this. Now watch his micro. He hops into the the castle, ejects on the other side, is now repairing the castle, is now poking down the rams. Viper is microing his skirmishers against the pikes and the repair bills, while his light cav go in. Hera's so desperate that he's using his own trebs to attack rams, which is very rare. And also he's building another castle. Now here, Viper definitely thinks this castle on the hill is going down. But I think it's a scary logic that Viper has used here. Like, if he doesn't commit everything to this castle, and this castle doesn't go down, it could be a huge mistake. Viper still has so much more. He's producing light cav, he's producing skirmishers. Remember, Viper does not have gold. Not at his base, not in the center. He's grown accustomed to a certain way of life. His people were used to gold. But look at the rams. These 2 rams, they're not going to do it to this castle. This castle, I don't think this castle is going down either. Hera's used his own ram in defense, and I bet if you go back and you look, maybe some hero in the comments will do it. That ram saved a Treb here, and it probably saved a castle. I mean, Hera was also at the limit with gold. Stone. He barely had enough to repair. Look at these castles. If you add up the HP on these two castles, it doesn't even equal a full castle. That's how close Viper was. Hindsight's 20/20, but Viper definitely needed to take this castle out first. I think he would have if he sent everything. But I can see why Viper would be confident there and think he could take it out. I didn't, when I was watching it in fast forward, I didn't think that Hera had a chance in, well, a chance in Hera. You see it now, right? You see it. An Eagle Scout. Now, they're expensive. Hera, he's going to need food for the upgrades. He needs 200 food and 100 gold for the Castle Age defense upgrade. He doesn't have that. So, Eagle Scouts, man, I mean, even Lightcav can fight them, but it's a sign of what is to come if Viper doesn't push again. So he's massing more rams. Again, where is he getting his gold? He's getting his gold from selling food and wood. Now, the prices are going to slowly get worse. Hera now has to be careful that he does not buy stuff with his gold, because the more he buys food, the more Viper is going to be able to sell to get gold. It's AoE 2 economics. It's amazing. Okay, in case you guys are really up for some binge watching tonight, I'm already going to be linking that classic Goldrush game with Viper and Yo from way back. I'm also going to link, and if I don't yell at me in the comments, I'm also going to link a game which Dave wanted me to title AoE 2 Economics or something like that, because it was a very similar situation where one person was buying and the other person was selling, and they affected each other positively, okay? So there's two videos there where this comes into play. But Viper, he has 150 population, and Hera has 85. So if Hera wins this, it's purely because of the power of gold, because everything else is not good. Viper's using that mobility, Viper's trying to push to the center at the same time, and Viper has 33 military, 9 military, versus the 11 of Hera. Hera is going for Eagle Warrior, and he's hoping to get to Elite Eagle Warrior. Viper rams down this castle. Suddenly, the position for Hera not looking so strong. There's a game in Hidden Cup where it was similar as well, where Viper had no access to gold and was able to win with just food and wood eco. In fact, if you saw the recent game between Viper and Larry on I'm sorry, it's really late here. Viper and Leary on Hideout, was it? Viper did a similar thing. He's so good at it. The more you expand that eco, the higher your vill count gets you, the more you can sell if you're Viper. Hera's at 67 pop. Viper has a full 100 population more than Hera. 100 population more. Hera has 55 vills, and he has half of that on gold. But what's coming in? Elite Eagle Warrior. Will Elite Eagle Warrior be enough? Eagles are insane. And Viper's mass producing in Castle Age. I mean, what are Viper's options against Eagles? Well, he would need Champion, and Viper can't do that. He's in Castle Age. So, maybe Knights. It's a lot of gold. Viper can't do that. It has to be Lightcav, and it has to be Skirms. He has to just outproduce his opponent. Maybe outposition and hit from different angles. Look at the difference in the stats now. You're looking at 6 Pierce Armor. That's the second number. The Skirmishers will do 1 damage to the Eagles. And the Eagles are not that far off from the HP of a Lightcav. They have more attack than a Lightcav. And Hera, who is just 100 population behind, will hold 100 population behind in a 200 population game. Insanity, man. If he's any Civ but Aztecs, or I guess Mayans or Incas, I don't think there's a unit which can come back from this type of a deficit. Except for Eagles. It would only make sense. Eagles cost a lot of gold. They have crazy stats for what they are. Viper still has a lot more economy, but suddenly the military count starting to matter a whole lot more. 90 total population for Hera, 140 for Viper, but it's 30 military for both. And if it's all Eagles, Viper will be in trouble. Hera wisely sends some Eagles to Viper's eco. He's beginning to raid. And here at the same time, Hera's trying to protect these Trebs to take out Viper's castle. I mean, is there a way back now for Viper? Because he doesn't have access to gold. He hasn't had it for a long time. Hera has all he needs to produce these Eagles, and he is producing. And beautiful quick walls around the Trebs, by the way. Viper's going to try Knights. He tries Knights. It's decent. It's better. The start to the engagement is good, but where are the resources going to come from? Where are Viper's resources going to come from? Is he going to sell that wood? He doesn't really have the food. Viper resigns. No. Viper GG's. Hera wins the game. 86 population, and Viper had 110. Man, that whole game was so fascinating to me. I can't wait to look at the statistics. I loved how Viper bought food with the gold in Castle Age, and then the price to sell food and wood was better for him in the Imperial Age. I love how he regurgitated from the market, but that's probably not the best use of that word, but it felt like it was. And I love how Hera was able to keep the castles up. I mean, the castles are still on fire at this point. You know, if we could get that one back, if we could see it again, and Viper uses those 2 rams that went down to this castle here, I mean, you can see how long they survived to do this damage. I'm fairly certain this castle would have gone down. And then Viper would have had a fair amount of momentum and possibly pushed this one and won the game right there. That was his moment, and that was Hera's moment to hold, because that was right after he had really got to that gold. Seriously insane stuff. There were other games from this best of 7 that I will upload and put on YouTube if you guys are interested. I loved it. I loved it. I'm not sure if it's because I've been in such a good casting mood recently. I get into what's called a caster's high. I've never experienced a runner's high in my life. But runners, they just keep on running. And tonight I'm just keeping on casting. And I just feel like the games that I have for you guys are going to be great. All right. So thank you for watching. Let's look at the statistics now. Wow, that's so interesting. That's so interesting to me. So it was purely the power of Eagles once Hera got there. Now, I really wish there were advanced statistics, because when you sell food and wood, it does contribute to your gold count at the end. I wish there was a stat that showed how much gold was collected, and then how much gold was gained from selling. Because I'm fairly certain, I mean, if I'm wrong on this, then I've been teaching people incorrectly for years. Fairly certain that anything Viper would have sold in this game would have contributed to this number here, and that's the same with Hera. Remember, he was selling some food probably, and they were both using the market like crazy. Now, if you're wondering what Viper could have maybe done to prevent relying so heavily on the market, obviously he chose Saracens to do that, but I think that in Castle Age, Viper probably should have invested faster into his own food eco. And then if he does that, maybe he's in a position where he doesn't have to all in and he could possibly go imp. Viper had 108 villager high. Look at this right here. Look at this. What a game, man. How did Hera come back from this? If I show anyone this timeline and I say bet your life savings, you have, put a gun to their head, you have to bet your life savings on who wins this game. Everyone would say Viper. Everyone would say Viper. And then they would all lose their life savings. Some guy out there is going to joke that he doesn't have any money. Feels bad for you, dude, but good thing is that you can save whatever you do get. Guys, that game had a lot of ups and downs. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Remember, in the video description, I have the Viper vs. Yo, which was one of the better games that I've ever had on my channel. And then also I have I forget the title, I'm sorry, but I remember it was Stark vs. Fire from a T90 series on a 24-hour stream upload. Only thing I will say about that, if you do watch it in the video description, I've made some bad decisions with my haircut, and there was a face cam since it was a 24-hour stream, so just don't judge. Have a nice night, guys.